I'm in Washington, D.C. today, and I just want to take a few minutes to talk to you about the impacts of a new administration. As President Trump and his administration moves into town in early January, how is that going to impact us as real estate investors? And I want to start out with a few positives. I'm also going to talk about a few things that have been in the news that could negatively affect us as real estate investors. So let's focus first on the positives. Number one, President Trump is a real estate guy. He's a pro-business guy. My hope is that some of his policies will spur economic growth by putting more money in our pockets, which will spur growth, right? And allow more people to buy homes coming up in the near future. That will spur more velocity in our real estate market. It'll get the engine churning and running. So that could be a good thing. Number two, in the past, he's been a president that cut taxes. Again, his policies tend to want to try to spur economic growth. By cutting taxes, in theory, again, people can argue this, but in theory, puts more money in our pockets, allows us to be out there looking for homes, buying homes, making them more affordable. That is certainly the hope. And then number three, he's also about less government, about deregulation, cutting red tape. That will spur builders on. They'll allow them to build homes at a cheaper price, maybe get them up quicker, put more supply in the market. Again, spurring economic growth, spurring velocity in our real estate market. Those things could help us as real estate investors. There's also the theory of just a positive spin on new administrations, a new energy. So you're going to see that, I believe, in the first 6 months to hopefully 9 months of the new year. Now let's talk about a few things that have been in the news that could negatively affect us as real estate investors, and there are a few. Number one, I'm sure you've read about or heard about the tariffs that he wants to impose on imported goods from Mexico, from China, from Canada. Now again, is this all political bluster or is this going to happen? If it does, tariffs, folks, are directly passed on to us as consumers. Again, it's going to make things more expensive. So when you're renovating a home, when you're putting in new windows, new roofs, new carpeting, as landlords, if you're updating your properties, those goods and services are going to cost more if he imposes some of these tariffs as he's been talking about. Now again, politicians love to spew out things. Let's see if that really comes to fruition. But if it does, theory that's going to have a negative impact on us. Number two, he's about a swamp. You've heard that they reducing the federal workforce. He's tasked Elon Musk in order to do some of this, to look at the efficiencies of our government. Now again, Washington is a government town, but we have a lot more diversified economy in the last 10 years or so, even more than that. I mean, Northern Virginia, the biotech up 270, all the industries around the Baltimore, Washington airport area. I mean, there's a lot of things going on in this area that allow us to weather some of this idea that we're just a federal workforce town. But in theory, if people lose their jobs, many of them might be near retirement. Many of them might have a lot of equity or own their own homes outright now. So we'll see how that has an impact in our area economy and hence our real estate market. We just kind of watch out for that. And number three, I'm sure you've heard about his promise for reparations. Now again, if that comes to fruition, if he is not talking about getting rid of some of the bad eggs, some of the criminals, but he does these mass deportations, folks, that's going to have a direct impact on our real estate market. That's going to take a lot of our labor away from our construction trades, and that will have an effect on going forward. So mass deportations, draining the workforce, some of those things, as you keep an eye out in the news and keep an eye out at Congress, if those come to fruition, us as real estate investors will feel some of that hurt. So my point is that there could be positives, there could be negatives. The bottom line is, hate to tell you this, no one politics is a tricky game. A lot of things that we just have to see what comes to fruition. I've read a lot from economists, from the National Association of Realtors, from a lot of the local boards and MLSs around the country. And again, it's a wild card. Nobody really knows. Obviously, what we want as real estate investors, we want deregulation. We want more money in our pockets. We want mortgage rates. By the way, the president doesn't really have too much effect on mortgage rates, but we hope those mortgage rates either stabilize or drop some. We need the flow, the velocity of the real estate market to continue if we want to be successful in our local market. So the point of this video, again, was just to give you an idea that obviously a new administration is coming in. What we see with that over and over again is energy, kind of a bump, a 6-month bump. And I think the next spring, winter will be very good for us here locally. But you got to keep your eye out on policy. You got to keep your eye out what is happening in Congress and how that can do as a real estate investor. So I hope this just gave you food for thought, just gave you a few ideas to kind of look out for. I'm sure you have your opinions. Feel free to share them with our community. Feel free to dial me up and let me know your thoughts. I'd love to hear them. But let's keep our heads down. Let's keep positive. Let's keep focused. It's a great time of year to spend time with your families and just look back in the last year and see what went maybe not so well in our businesses and keep moving forward. I wish you all very happy holidays, and we will see each other very, very soon.